Hello everybody, welcome back to the Stacey preview show. My name is Jake as always, and we're back for another Sky Bet League One preview as Gareth Ainsworth returns to Lincolnshire as he brings his Wycombe Wanderers side to Sincil Bank in Sky Bet League One. So before we do get started with the preview, just a reminder that we are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel as soon as physically possible. So any likes, any subscribes, any comments would be massively appreciated by myself and all of us here at the Stacey West team. Also, if you do press that notification bell down below next to the subscribe button, that does mean you will be notified when either I upload a video like this or whether Gaz goes live on one of his dog walks. So, as I say, please do subscribe as we are trying to reach that magical number of 1,000. Before we get into the game against Wycombe on Saturday, I do unfortunately have to go over the 2-0 defeat away at Shrewsbury Town last weekend. Obviously not a vintage Lincoln City performance. A goal in either half saw condemned us to another defeat on the road. It was difficult because I thought we played well in the first 15-20 minutes. I thought we carved them open at times, probably could have scored 2 or 3. But the game changed around just before the half-time whistle, really. Was Jamie Robson pushed in the back, potentially, but his hand is in an unnatural position, which meant the referee had to give a spot kick, and it was tucked away nicely by Luke Leahy. Thought Carl nearly got to it. But yeah, the second half was really abject. Didn't think we created too much at all, and it didn't take much, did it, for Shrewsbury to go and kill the game off with a really well put together move. Ended up with Tom Bayliss, a really good player for them, tucking home and making it 2-0. It was comfortable for Shrewsbury, but I believe we are going to put it right on Saturday. So let's look at the preview. Yep, so we are putting that Shrewsbury defeat behind us, hopefully, on Saturday. And to get the scoop on all things Wycombe, I enlisted the help of Marcelo. He is a Wycombe Wanderers supporter from Mexico, living in the UK. But I had a little chat with him earlier on this week, and here's what he had to say. Right, we are joined by Wycombe Wanderers fan Marcelo. Marcelo, how are you doing, my friend?
Hi, I'm doing excellent. Thank you very much for your invitation.
No worries at all, my friend. It's good to be able to speak to a Wycombe fan. Now then, let's talk about the season so far for Wick. It's been pretty inconsistent, I would say. I think you've been down towards the lower half of the table for most of it. Obviously, you've just jumped into 10th ahead of us. How would you assess the first sort of 20 games or so that you've played?
Yeah, I mean it's been quite like a bumpy ride with some good games, with some patch of good games and stuff. But I mean it was always gonna be difficult to after the Wembley blow on May against Sunderland, then losing the likes of Bloomfield, Stockdale, Bayo, Stewart, those like 4 really important players in our squad. In the locker room, I mean, it was never gonna be easy, and I mean, and Ainsworth, he always says about like this, like the players' personality in the locker room, the other intangibles that they bring, and like those 4 players were like key men in his squad. So I mean, it's like kind of like a transition, and also I mean, I think the last 3 seasons we've been really punching above our weight. I mean, playoff final, then championship, then another playoff finals. So I mean, this season could be seen more as a transition. But I think if we are like in this kind of spots, I mean not really far from the playoff places. I mean, I think we can like find our place also, and also the first like few months we've been like hit with injuries also. Tafazzoli at the back is a bit like inconsistent with injuries. Bogues also was absent for quite a while. So I mean we are trying to get our match squad fit, and I think it's a bit odd start, but like taking all the circumstances, I think we are in a very good spot.
Yeah, I think we can sort of sympathise. We know how difficult it is to get to a playoff final, lose that playoff final, and then try and rebuild the following season. It's very difficult, as we found out last year. Let's
Yeah,
talk about
definitely.
the manager then. Gareth Ainsworth is a bit of a cult hero in Lincoln. I follow quite a lot of Wycombe fans on Twitter. For knowing a couple through university. They were sort of aimed without a little bit earlier in the season. I think after the result against Cambridge, especially, I saw a lot
Yeah.
of Ainsworth out tweets then. Are you guys sort of, is he sort of having to win you back around a little bit, or has he got enough credit in the bank, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's a section of fans. I mean, most of them are like quite like new fans. I mean, I am also quite a recent fan, and I definitely admit that I've experienced mostly good moments with my team, but I'm also like really aware of like all these situation, the club's history whatsoever. So I mean, there's a section of the fan base that is like Ainsworth out and so on. But I mean, our owners like definitely back in Gareth. I mean, he's like I don't think he's never been close enough to be sacked. And I think like most of the fan base, I mean, I would say around like 90% or more, like really appreciate Ainsworth and like all the huge things he's done for our club, like more than 10 years as a manager. So I mean, I don't think he needs to prove anyone and like anything. I mean, he's an outstanding manager and a great person. And I like there's a few voices that Ainsworth out, and I mean his game style, his planning of like this like a hoof bow and like a long bows and stuff. I mean, it can resonate like in a negative way with some people, but I think he's definitely proved that it's an effective way to play, that it works for us at a certain point. So I mean, I don't think he needs to prove anyone anything basically.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely a good manager, and it is probably someone that we would have taken at Lincoln after Danny Cowley left. Talking on games and where Ainsworth impressed. Sunday against Portsmouth, a good, comfortable 2-0 win. I think as good as you were, Pompey were also pretty bad. So talk to us about that game and what you thought about the performance from Wycombe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was quite a composed game. I mean, could probably be our best win of the season at home. Maybe that, and also with Posh at late, no, mid October. That was also quite a good win. And yeah, I think that well, a big call was putting Bogues on the bench. That was a bit like strange from him, but I think like having Hanlan on top. I, I I mean, he's definitely a different type of a player, and I don't think Hanlan can play like definitely the same role as Box, but he gives us another insight into the game. He's quite explosive. He's quite fast. He presses the back line a lot, and I think I mean it was a very composed game. Also at the back, I mean Tafazzoli and Mawson. I think they're quite good pair of central backs. I think Tafazzoli, it was the 10th game in a row where he was played when he's playing at Adams Park. That I think that the opposition have, have have not scored.
Hmm.
So I mean, he's quite a good, solid player at the back. So I think it was quite a good win, coupled with Portsmouth that is currently in a very bad form. I think it's 9 points from the last 10 games, so on. So I mean, it was combined with a very good game by us, and I mean a bit poor by Pompey.
And talk to me then about your first goal scorer, Anis Mehmeti. Really come to the fore over the last sort of 18 months or so. Signed from Woodford in 2020 and has really pressed on. Probably on current form, you'd have to argue, with probably one of the top 5 players in League One at the moment. Talk to us a little bit about Anis and the way he's able to impact this Wycombe Wanderers side.
Yeah, I think I mean he's been an outstanding player last season, also this season too. I mean he's still in the process of becoming that top player because he sometimes doesn't make the right goal at the end. I mean the second goal was outstanding. I mean he made the right pass to Gmac for the second goal, but there have been sometimes this season that his final touch is not the best, but I think it's all part of like he further enhancing his game in our team. And yeah, I mean he like signed for us for the B team for this like since we scrapped our academy. I mean this like B team scheme where we find like these players that didn't make the cut for some teams that are in the lookout for more opportunities and stuff. So I mean, Anis was a big found for us. He's been, I mean, he also played, I mean, some minutes in the championship season. Then last season, I think this season he's really coming into form, into a very good player. And I mean, we just have to enjoy like his part for us and just wait if there's a bit
Is there a
this
worry that
month. And
yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's a very good player. He's technical. Yeah, yeah.
is there a worry that you might lose him in the January window upcoming, or in the summer next year if you don't get promoted out of League One this year?
Yeah, like I think that's a real like fear for us. I mean, we are never gonna get a hold of that kind of player with a big roof. I mean, he has lots to improve. He's still quite young, so yeah, I think there's a quite good odds that he may leave like this market or in summer. Yeah, yeah.
And we like to look at the last time these two teams faced off against each other, which was obviously last season at Sincil Bank. Funnily enough, a 1-1 draw. Wycombe scored pretty late on. I think it was Chris Fiorino, or the centre half,
Yeah,
scoring
yeah,
a free header. What can you remember from that afternoon? Because from what I can remember, Marcelo, we probably just about deserved to win until Wycombe scored pretty late on.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I remember that your goal was like maybe like the 8 minutes, something like a
Yeah.
corner and stuff. So I mean, yeah, I remember that quite like an scrappy game. Scowen got sent off also that game by the end. So yeah, I mean, I do remember that it was quite like a scrappy game with I mean with us not like being able to establish our game. But I mean that late goal was the equalizer that I mean we maybe didn't do enough to to come back with a point. But I mean that's the game sometimes.
Absolutely, and just I'm interested to see what your thoughts are on Lincoln this season. Obviously, playoff finalists in 2021. Last year was a bit of a rough season for Lincoln, but under a new manager this year, we're sat in 11th. I want to say 12th in League One this year. If we do beat you on Saturday, we can go ahead of you with a game in hand still. Are you surprised to see Lincoln have progressed so much in such a short space of time under the new manager?
I mean, my first like memory of your team was when you beat them when you beat them Burnley in the FA Cup.
Mhm.
I and like seeing you in like from that point and like you were quite close to go up to the championship and so on. I mean, I think you are like very like a healthy club in like every aspect. And I like last season like also was a tough season. I
Yeah.
mean a transition one definitely, and Appleton leaving and stuff. But I think you got like quite a good squad, and I think you're like that team that really doesn't get like the enough attention, but can really like I I mean you are also quite in a close range from the playoff places. So I mean I don't see any wrongdoing, like any thing that could impede you from making a run into the playoffs, because I I I mean it's a good club with with a good coach, good players definitely. So I mean, but I think it's that club that really doesn't get the enough attention, but it's doing quite a good job.
Yeah, obviously you've seen we've beaten Ipswich, drawn with Wednesday, drawn with Plymouth so far
Yeah,
this
I
year.
mean,
So, and obviously we are still unbeaten at home, so it will be a pretty tough ride for Wycombe. Hopefully on Saturday, fingers
definitely.
crossed. Anyway,
Yeah.
what would you go for a score prediction, Marcelo, for Saturday afternoon?
I mean, I would go maybe the same result we had last time we were met. I'm going for a draw,
A 1-1
1-1.
draw.
Basically.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
thank you very much for coming on, Marcelo. Massively appreciated. Thank you, Marcelo, for coming on our channel and helping me preview the game against your beloved Wycombe Wanderers. A link to his Twitter is in the description down below. So if you want to go and check his stuff out, feel free to do so. But that does bring another episode of the Stacey West Preview Show to a conclusion. Thank you for sticking around. I'm much appreciated again. As I say, please make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and we will see you Sunday for the West End Imp Show. Thank you for watching. Up the Imps.